I will say the one mental health tip, trick, intervention that has been incredibly valuable and useful to me really is mindfulness. Because I can use it anytime, anywhere, any place. I can be up and out and about and walking around, or I can be in the stillness of my home. And
Right.
so any sort of mindfulness activity is incredibly valuable for me. I find that even when I wake up in the middle of the night, right? Like, and I feel overwhelmed because there's lots of things going on, I can practice mindfulness and get back to sleep. I can be overwhelmed at work in a meeting and take a deep breath and practice mindfulness for 30 seconds and then refocus and get back into what we were doing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talking Health with Health Solutions, a podcast that is being recorded at Health Solutions. Health Solutions is a nonprofit organization that has been serving the Pueblo and surrounding areas for over 60 years. And on today's episode, we have Kristie, Vice President of
Youth and Family Services.
Family Services. Kristie, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Talking Health with Health Solutions. I'm Madison Alfonso, here with Kristie. What got you here to Health Solutions?
It's really kind of funny because I wrote, right, like you're in grad school and you're writing, what do you want to do and what population do you want to work with? And I wrote a paper on working with youth. And then I went to work with adults, a lot of adults. And some youth were sprinkled in there. And I was cleaning something out one day and I was like, okay, this is very interesting. I didn't remember that I had written that I wanted to work with youth, and it had been after I had started working with youth. And so I just found it very interesting. I was like, okay, well, I guess this is my calling. I really love working with kiddos. And there's this, middle school age range that I am like, they're the best. I love them so much.
That's
and other
really
folks,
controversial.
it is.
Mhm.
I hear you either love the middle school age range or it's not
Yes.
for you.
Oh my gosh, I love them. They're so sweet and so cool, right? Because they're like, oh, I'm a big kid. I'm not in elementary school no more. And they're still willing to learn and grow and take information in and practice things so that they can contribute to their own mental wellness. And so I've just found that they're such an amazing little group of kiddos that I really, really was drawn to. So when I first started at Health Solutions, that was the age range I was working with. I was working in two different middle schools. I was working on the east side of town in Risley Middle School, and then on the south side of town in Pueblo Academy of Arts. And just such a neat population. I really, really enjoyed working with them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of the times when we have our guest, I think I was talking about this earlier too, is that a lot of the times we see people just by who they are right now. So, you know, Kristie being one of the vice presidents, but I think that there's just so much more to Kristie than being the vice president so it's interesting to see like what that background looks. So if you can just a little bit expand on maybe some of the things that you've done before you got to Health Solutions, because I know of some of the things, but I don't know if you want to share them.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I arrived at Health Solutions, lots of people don't know this part of my history. Before I even went to grad school, I was in undergrad school, I worked for a criminal defense attorney. And so I have my paralegal certification, and I thought I was going to go on and be an attorney. And then just lots of, as we all know, life things happened, and I became much more interested in behavioral health field. And so from there, I worked on an inpatient unit with mostly on the youth unit. Of course, I would cover on adults when was needed. And then moved to the opposite end of the spectrum and worked as a discharge planner in the hospital for mainly older folks. And then I moved on to suicide prevention. And so I worked at Polo Suicide Prevention Center for many years and worked my way up and became executive director. It's like stumbling blocks where I'm like, I want to get back working with people. And in that role, I wasn't working with I was working with people, just not in the way I wanted to. And so came to Health Solutions and loved it. Been here ever since. I've been here for a little over 10 years now, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, because I think that that's where I knew of Kristie is from
Yeah.
working in the suicide prevention world. And I don't necessarily know if a lot of people know about that, about the work that you did with suicide prevention and your knowledge when it comes to suicide prevention, because it's very extensive. You know, that you were running a facility that did calls. So we would answer calls. For those of you who may not know, we would answer calls of distressed individuals. It was very much, I want to say, almost like a 988, but here in Polo. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, so we would answer calls for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline for when I first started, it was the entire state of Colorado, and then it was about 60 counties in Colorado.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So lots of midnight oil.
Yeah.
Taking calls overnight.
It was really interesting. It was really nice. And I think that that is where my passion came for suicide prevention, is with the volunteer work that I did there. Because I don't know. I don't know if it's like that adrenaline of like, what am I going to do that?
Right.
And
Yeah,
every
because
day.
you don't know, right? Like the phone rings and it could be one thing. It could be something totally opposite.
Exactly. Yeah. Kristie, with your role within here at Health Solutions, what are some of the things that you oversee as being the vice president? What do you oversee?
So anything youth outpatient falls under my umbrella. So we've got lots of programming. We have 2 different campuses. So we have a campus on Abriendo, and then we have a campus out in the county. And I promise everybody is not that far. So often they're like, no, we don't want to go out there.
Yeah.
It really, like, I have literally said, let me have your address. It is like 0.2 miles further.
Right. I feel like we can't even say it's in the county, though. Like, being from the county myself, I'm like, it's on the cusp.
It
Like,
sure
you
is.
are so close to Santa Fe. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
Really
It's just you're like chill.
The street behind us is actually the city. And I also grew up out in the county, and I'm out there all the time.
Right.
So did you graduate from county high school as well too?
I did, yeah.
Did you, Madison?
Whoop, whoop. Yep.
So did I. I mean,
I
like,
didn't know that.
Did you?
I graduated from
Madison
county.
I didn't know that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
so
I graduated
funny.
from county high
And
school.
obviously, I'm way older than both of you, so.
I wouldn't guess that.
Oh, you're way too nice.
You have a lot of different like buckets that you've worked in. What makes Health Solutions stand out as different for you?
Oh my gosh, Health Solutions has been such an amazing organization for me to work in, right? Like I stepped back into behavioral health and was able to work with this amazing population of youth and really had leaders that took me under their wing to really help expand my knowledge in behavioral health. Because as Nancy mentioned, right, like I came in and I was very narrowly focused in suicide prevention. And of course, that's not everybody's thing that they come in to talk about, right? And so really had amazing leaders that took me under their wings to expand and help me learn and grow. I would say that all of the support from the moment that I stepped into Health Solutions to this day is really one of the major things at Health Solutions for me that has been so incredibly important. I can look any which way and ask, hey, I'm struggling here. Can somebody help me? And there is somebody that is willing to say, oh, hey, let's look at it this way, right? It's I think because I came from a small nonprofit, it was very much felt, and I'm sure it wasn't, it was just my perception, but it felt like whoa, it's just this tiny little thing and I've got to know and answer and be all of the things. And then I came here and it's like there's so many more brains, and more brains are so much better than my brain because, right? Like people look at things differently and can help explain things differently. And so the supportive nature of Health Solutions has been so amazing for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think the culture that's been built here, that they just our leadership wants everyone to succeed and they just
Absolutely.
want the best for all of us. I think I'd have to agree with that for
Yeah.
sure.
It's like there's no wrong door, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And when I walk in or I knock on a door or send an email there, we're not afraid to admit, you know what? I don't know. Let's talk to. And then we just solve it together.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think when it comes down to just the background that you have, I think that's what makes a good clinician and a good leader because you know, as you know, suicide prevention is in everything, right? It's
Absolutely.
in everything. And I don't necessarily think we get enough training of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can ever be prepared for that. So I think maybe for our listeners, for our families, what are some advice that you have when it comes to maybe some needs that you've seen that children might need and that families can kind of pay attention to or pick up on?
Yeah. So some of the things that are really important really is that giving the space and time, right? I grew up in a probably time and culture where it was not kosher, right? Like these things were swept under the rug. We didn't talk about them. And so I think some of that still lingers, right? And so when kiddos are saying, hey, I'm feeling suicidal, or hey, I don't want to be here anymore, or I want to die, it really is important to let's pause. Let's actually talk about that, right? Like, so being dismissive really is the opposite of what we want to do, right? Like, we don't want to encourage kiddos to bury those feelings, right? So when we're like, no, no, you're fine. Come on, it's just a bad time. It's just a bad
Right.
day. Um, yeah, it is. And open that door so that you can talk with your kiddo and just listen. There,
Yeah.
we don't have to solve the problem in this very moment. We need to open those lines of communication so that our kiddos can tell us what they're feeling and how they're feeling. And in turn, right, that builds that relationship between that kiddo and that parent so that they know, okay, I can talk to my parent about anything. I know we all
Right.
say it, right?
Mhm.
Like I have 3 kiddos. I know I'm tell my kids, you can talk to me about anything. And having all of the training I've had, when I have had these experiences in my life, it is shocking. Like you said, it's like,
Mhm.
"Ugh," right?
Yeah.
It's like, what do I do next? I remember a long time ago when I was still in suicide prevention, um, somebody close to me that I had known uh, was struggling with thoughts of suicide. And I remember thinking, this isn't a problem for me. I got to call my boss.
Yeah.
And because it's a very true, real thing, it feels very scary in the moment. And we take a deep breath and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, especially when we talk about kiddos and them growing up, they're learning about themselves, and I mean, we've all been at that age range where we don't even can't even stand ourselves.
Right.
So all of our
Right.
emotions are going crazy, and to think about just an added layer onto it. So I think that that's kind of very important. It's just to listen to that individual, and a lot of the times we just want to be heard, right? We just want to be
Absolutely.
heard.
Yeah. And validated, right? That it is hard.
It is.
The
Yeah.
things that we run into, the things that we struggle with, the things that come up is real and it is hard.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
doesn't mean we can't get over it, that we can't work through it. It just takes time sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we with your with the departments that you have under you and the services, I know that you guys have the school-based clinicians. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about what the school-based clinicians do and what is that role?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, I started on the school-based team. I started
Oh,
within
wow, okay.
schools. And so of course that all my teams have a special place in my heart and school-based team absolutely has a special place in my heart. Because that is meeting the kiddos where they're at, right? We're not
Yeah.
asking them to leave their comfortable environment. We're not asking a parent to pick them up to bring them to services each week. We work within their school population. We work with them where they're at. And I think that it provides such a great resource for not only the kiddos themselves, but for the schools, right? Oftentimes it's not just the kiddo that is coming to services that is struggling. We partner with the principals and the counselors and talk with them about, oh, okay, Sally is or Johnny is, and let's see how we can help. Not everybody comes in for individual services. So our school-based team does also create groups within schools based on sometimes what the counselors are seeing or sometimes what the principals are seeing. And so create groups where we can have kiddos come to those groups within the school. And again, just meeting them where they're at. We have clinicians in all levels. So from elementary, middle, and high school. And even in the elementary schools, it's in their community. And so it reduces access to barriers. So the parent maybe doesn't have access to transportation, but if they live across the street from the school or down the block from the school, they can walk there and they can get their kiddo enrolled in school there.
I know the focus is for kiddos, but how do you incorporate the families in
absolutely.
these situations?
There are lots of different ways that happens. So we can meet with parents within the schools as well. Sometimes they come in and they do their family sessions within the school. There are other times where it is solely just kiddo and the clinician. However, we then are making appointments with the parents. Maybe we're calling them, maybe we have a televideo appointment, or maybe they come in and we're then bridging those conversations there. So we incorporate the family as much as we can because you guys know we can't help just one 5-year-old.
Right.
It takes the whole family unit.
It does. It takes a whole village.
Absolutely.
And, Kristie, you talk about the school-based team. Are they in every schools? Are they in every district? What does that look like?
Yeah, I wish they were in every school.
Beneficial.
Yes. They're not in every school. We're in select schools in both 60, 70, and in Walsenburg and Trinidad.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Also a school liaison that can go to any school. And we have a school CCS, clinical care specialist, and she can go as well. So our school liaison can go to any school and help bridge the gap between Health Solutions and the school. So we're trying to get the family in, trying to help them get enrolled in services. And again, she can go to any school. And then our clinical care specialist, same thing, right? Maybe we have clients that do come in, but maybe they have an IEP or an RTI or 504, and parents need or want somebody there. And we're not always taking clinicians offline to go into the school. However, our school-based clinical care specialist can be that bridge or that gap to help bridge the services between Health Solutions, what's going on here, and how can we help at the school, and then bring that information back to their clinician so that we're kind of working as a unit.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristie, it has been a pleasure to have you on the podcast, and we thank you for being here and answering all these questions. Before you leave, though, we have some rapid fire questions that we're going to ask you. And I like to tell all our guests that these are questions that are either going to make or break you. Your team is going to be like, heck yeah, that is Kristie. That is my VP. Or they're going to be like, oh, that's my VP.
So those are the ones we're cutting out, right?
I mean, those are the ones we're going to put up first before they start to know everything about
Those
you.
are all the teasers.
Yeah, those are all the tea we're going to put out.
All right.
So the first question being, does pineapple go on pizza?
Yes.
I agree.
We all agree.
Yay.
Our Melissa, she is like the only one that says no. That is no. So
Next one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
This one, I don't know. I listened to everyone's answer and I'm conflicted. I originally said no, but then I heard Nancy explain a sandwich and I'm like,
so what is a sandwich,
shoot.
Kristie?
I mean, it's true, right? It's 2 pieces of bread with meat in the middle. Is hot dog meat?
I mean,
I mean,
it is
you
a
can buy
yeah.
the all
All beef.
beef
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
the all beef ones are sandwiches.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's so funny because Dr. Baldridge, I'm sure he's going to be watching this. He's like, give Kristie a hard time. So I just wanted to put out there that when Dr.
Of course
Baldridge,
he did.
yeah, of course he did. We're not going to do that, Dr. Baldridge. We're not going to do that. When I was telling him, I was like, okay, is a hot dog a sandwich? And he's like, absolutely not. And then I was like, okay, well, what is a sandwich? And he's like, it's a protein. I think he said protein. He's like, protein between two. He's like, okay. All right. He's like, all right, it is.
Okay. And then I have to say, what is a hamburger? We don't call a hamburger a sandwich.
Right. That was
Oh.
my thought too. But then you have like a chicken sandwich, which is basically a hamburger, but
Except chicken.
chicken.
Dang, you guys, these are hard questions.
Yeah. So I mean, but so far you've answered them all good. So you're good.
Yay.
The last one being, what is a mental health tip you live by?
Wow, that's incredibly difficult, and I will tell you why. I maybe I won't tell you why.
We've got time. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. They're all the things. Mental health are important, and I am not the best at practicing them all of the time. I will say the one mental health tip, trick, intervention that has been incredibly valuable and useful to me really is mindfulness. Because I can use it anytime, anywhere, any place. I can be up and out and about and walking around, or I can be in the stillness of my home. And
Right.
so mindfulness, any sort of mindfulness activity is incredibly valuable for me. I find that even when I wake up in the middle of the night, right? Like, and I feel overwhelmed because there's lots of things going on, I can practice mindfulness and get back to sleep.
Yeah.
I can be overwhelmed at work in a meeting and take a deep breath and practice mindfulness for 30 seconds and then refocus and get back into what we were doing.
Like in the moment, what is a mindful activity?
If I'm in a maybe conference room or in a meeting, and I teach this to lots of kiddos too, right? I'm like, nobody has to know you're doing mindfulness. That's probably one of the really fantastic things about mindfulness. So if I'm in a meeting or a public place, I'll just look around and count the things. So whether I look up and I count the tiles on the ceiling, or maybe I count a certain number of colors or name all of the things that I see a certain color. That's really, really an easy one when you're out and about in public. I know oftentimes people think mindfulness, you go to a quiet place and you close your eyes and you crisscross applesauce and your fingers and hands are a certain way. And that really is not, that is mindfulness.
There's so
That's
much more
not
to
the-
it.
Right. That's not the only way we practice mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Well, thank you so much, Kristie. And thank you to our viewers for watching. If you are struggling or in need of a mental health help, you can call 988, or you can go into our walk-in crisis services, which is going to be at 1310 Chinook Lane, or you can call us directly. Until next time, bye.